Hello people, my name is Rage, and welcome one and all to One Piece Burning Blood, which quite frankly sounds like one of the most severe medical conditions I think you could possibly be diagnosed with. I mean, if your doctor casually said to you, yeah, I think your blood is on fire, and then you had one of those cartoon moments where you don't notice until it's said, and then you spontaneously combust. I don't think any amount of aspirin is going to do away with that. Anyway, this is completely beside the point. This is a very exciting game, because it's the first proper fighting game using the One Piece world and characters, and I was very kindly invited down to London to go get my pirate on and slay some fools, and by fools I mean mostly the computer. Either way, let's talk about this game. So, I suppose the easiest comparison to make is the recent Naruto fighting game, or Naruto fighting games in general. It very much feels like that, but with One Piece characters. The game revolves around having 3-on-3 battles where only 1 versus 1 is happening at any one time, but you can freely swap between who you're playing as. And it has kind of a nice little dynamic in that you can pick a rock, paper, scissors type team against your opponent's choices. So, say you pick a character who's really good at close range but can be kited and ranged down, then you also want a character that's good at dealing with long range people so that you can support the weakness of one of your choices. So it does actually add quite an element of strategic depth. So therein lies the hook of this game, a tag team, vibrant, over-the-top fighting game based on One Piece characters, and honestly, it's really a lot of fun to play. Now, I am a One Piece fan. I love One Piece, and therefore it's hard not to be a little bit biased towards my feeling of, oh my god, I'm playing as my favorite character fighting my other favorite character, and oh, this is amazing. But I do need to look at the game objectively. I would be remiss not to. So, as an actual fighting game, let's strip away the fact that it is skinned as One Piece. Let's just look at it as if I went, hey, you two! You like fighting games? You've never heard of One Piece? Check this out! And herein, I think, lies a problem. Not a massive one, mind you, but still a problem. What I got from playing this game, while I really enjoyed it, is that it felt a little bit too unresponsive, and by that I mean the combat and the fights didn't really seem to flow that smoothly. The back and forth seemed a little bit awkward, a little bit janky, like the dashes were really start and stoppy, the movement wasn't completely where I'd like it to be, because if you ask anyone who is deeply into their fighting games, they will tell you the number one thing that you need from a fighting game is for it to be smooth. You want animations to flow into each other, you want to feel in full, tiny touch control over your character at all times, you want your moves to be responsive and mesh together well, and I felt like, let me explain it this way. Let's take Street Fighter, for example. If I do A, B, and then C, in Street Fighter, I'm basically going A, B, C, and it all flows nicely despite my terrible voice. Whereas in One Piece, it felt like A, B, C, and that little stop between each thing really is noticeable and kind of goes, ugh. But the thing is, it's not that major a problem, but it is something I noticed, and it's probably, honestly, the only real complaint I can level at the game. It really, really is. Everything else is very good. The moves themselves are very spectacular, very fun to use. The combat itself is not too simple, but certainly not like ridiculous combo Mortal Kombat level complicated, but you know, it works. There is different types of block depending on the type of character you are. If you're an intangible intangible person whose body is made out of lava or light or lightning. You can let attacks pass straight through you, and that feels badass to pull off. You also have just your normal regular block, and the thing is, you have characters that can counter the intangible blocks with their own special attacks and powers, and I can't stress enough the character versus character choice being such a cool element of this game. And the actual way you pull off attacks isn't terribly complicated. You have spam square as your main combo, and then you have L1 plus square plus triangle or plus circle as your special attacks that you can spam pretty freely. Easy to pull off, but when and where you use them is very important, because if you miss with them, you can leave yourself very open, and it's all about footwork in this game, where you are relative to your opponent. You have a gauge that fills up, and when it does, you can go into super serious mode, and then if you press it again, you do a big final, full-on animated special attack that just makes you feel like a god of battle, and that is always fun. There's also a series of supporting characters that you choose that basically just act as passive buffs, or in some cases an active sort of like heal in one instance that you can use in combat, just to add a little bit of extra diversity to your character loadout and just a little extra way to mess with your opponent. For example, one of my favorites is a whale that basically means that every time you lose one of your 3 characters, your remaining ones get stronger, so it makes your final character feel like a real hero, and that was a lot of fun to enjoy. Now, before I tell you one of the best things about this game, and honestly something it does better than literally any other fighting game I've played, here's Danny eating a cookie.
Eat it. Eat that cookie.
Good, I'm glad we had time to fit that in. So, what does this game do that is amazing to me? Well, it's a simple thing really, but it's the dialogue between the characters, both before they fight and how they react while they do fight. You can have a ridiculous variety in how your characters speak to each other before they brawl, and also depending on which trio you pick, you can activate special. These characters know each other in universe, so they say something unique to each other. For example, if you pick Luffy, Ace, and Sabo, they are brothers in the sense that they decided to become brothers, and they will have a special, yeah, let's do this, gang, with each other, where if you just picked Ace and Luffy and then some random third, Ace and Luffy would have a little extra dialogue, but the third guy wouldn't really care, and he'd talk about something else. And this also responds with the opponent's 3 choices. So say if Luffy's on one side, Ace is on the other, they will remark how they're going to have a fun little sparring match. And I can't tell you how cool it is to know that the possible combination of 6 characters, of which there are a lot of combinations, can all have very different ways of bantering with each other before a fight. It's not even something that would have been necessary, but it's a very nice touch that adds a really cool element of this is the One Piece that I know, and is going to make fans of the show like me very, very happy. And that brings me nicely on to my next point. This game, if you like One Piece, is absolutely a blast. It is wonderful. It is great. If you are into One Piece, you will love it, and I'd say keep your eye on it up to release. My only slight concern is that it won't take off that much with people who just purely like fighting games, because in that sense, I think there are better choices. But then again, the game, while it does want to appeal to that market a little bit, it is very much dedicated at One Piece fans, which, let's be honest, are in no short supply. It's one of the most popular anime and mangas ever created, so I think this game is going to do reasonably well there. I also think it would be a lot of fun as a party game. I'm speaking for experience here in that me and a group of friends, most of which don't even really like fighting games or anime, all absolutely had a blast playing the Naruto fighting game and just beating each other up with the ridiculous over-the-topness, and I could see that happen exactly the same with One Piece. Bunch of friends on some settees round a TV and just killing each other with these stupidly over-the-powered, over-the-top pirate moves and just having a lot of fun doing it. I think there is quite a large amount of potential there. So, in terms of other features in this game, then you do have a kind of story mode where you play through probably one of the best arcs in One Piece, the War of the Best, which was just fantastic, and you take on the role of 4 different characters as they progress through their journey through that, and it's very kind of neat. Lots of cutscenes, lots of talking, lots of animated back and forths interspersed with the battles, and it seems very solid. It seems your standard fighter story mode affair, but it's exactly what a One Piece fan would want to experience playing this game. And then there is interactivity with the stages in terms of when you finish someone, they can get blasted into the back of a stage, into the crowd, or into a boat. And then also there are a lot of things in a stage that get destroyed while you're fighting through it. And I actually really like that. It's a nice touch. It makes it feel more like just a natural battle that's occurring in the world than a predetermined fighting area. And you just smash through market stalls and trees, and it really feels like you're tearing up the place, which is really nice. It's something not really enough fighting games tend to do. The area you're fighting in normally feels very artificial, but it's artificial? Great going, Self! But it's a lot more real in One Piece, and I can really quite appreciate that. In terms of the character roster, there was, I think, 24 in the version I played. There's going to be more in the full release. I don't know how many, but basically, if it's a major One Piece character, you're going to be able to play it from what I can understand. And lastly, I do want to talk a little bit about balance between the characters. I cannot really comment too much because you need to put a lot of hours into a fighting game to truly understand it, but it did seem like some characters were just immediately ridiculous compared to the others. Luffy, for example, seems bonkers strong, but then again, he is Luffy, and to be fair, I wouldn't mind if he was a little bit stronger. It depends how seriously you want to take a fighting game like this, but, you know, it's not something I want to go into detail. I do not know the game well enough to comment on balance past my initial feeling, which tends to be pretty bad in a fighting game because everybody feels like everything is overpowered when they start playing a fighting game. So yeah, that's really all there is at that stage. So to wrap up then, it's a very satisfying to play, very visceral, visually pleasing. There's a lot of kick to the moves that you use, and as a One Piece fan, it is truly magnificent. I feel like it has a few little niggling problems, but nothing major, and I think it's going to end up being a lot of fun for a lot of One Piece fans, and I was very happy and thankful to be given the opportunity to go see it. It was a really lovely event, and I am really glad to have been able to go. So there you have it, everyone. That's a little bit of a talk on Burning Blood. Well, let me know what you think from what you've seen on screen, and I will leave you with a little lasting I mean, look at that face! My name is Rage. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more. Goodbye.